I've lived in Lagos, I've lived in Accra, so where else can I live that will shock me? Nowhere else can shock me, you guys. And the boo 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 was done by a 15-year-old boy. Hi, Charlie. He paid me, oh, he paid me. Hello friends, this is James of the James TV. Thank you for stopping by and you're welcome. In case you're new here, hi, I am Jumoke, a Nigerian-born lady who lived in Ghana for a few years and then moved to the US. So I'm currently filming this from the US. So you're welcome, guys. You're welcome. It's been a minute. It's been a while. We sat down to talk, sat down to gist, and yeah, I've missed it actually. Just been vlogs back to back, and yeah, thank you for your support. Thank you for sticking with me. So the vlogs you've been seeing for some time now, at least since I got to the US, were made in New York. So I landed in New York, Bronx to be precise, and a lot of you were excited. In fact, I had 2 subscribers who actually said they live in New York. You know, it was nice to know that I have subscribers in that city, in New York, in Bronx to be precise, and that's so cool. So I'm currently in Virginia. I've left New York. I wasn't going to stay in New York. New York was just a place where I landed. You know, everybody always has where they land. Whenever you go to a new country, there's always somewhere you land. You land somewhere. You may decide to stay there and you may decide to move, whichever one suits you. You know, it suits your circumstance or your situation and all of that. So in today's video, I'll be sharing some should I say differences between New York and Virginia. So I stayed in New York for less than a month and I learned so much, you guys. I learned so much. I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but New York gives me the vibe of Lagos. It gives me the vibe of Accra. That is it. You see, London, New York, Accra, and Lagos. I heard Nairobi too is like that. You see all these cities, they have so much in common. So if you're in London, just imagine that that's how New York is. If you're in Accra, just imagine that that's how New York is. To be honest, New York is so rowdy. New York is so busy. New York is not for the faint-hearted, you guys. See, it's not like I can't live there, okay? I've lived in Lagos. I've lived in Accra. So where else can I live that will shock me? Nowhere else can shock me, you guys. Yeah, so let's get right into it. So first things first, the distance between New York and Virginia by road. I remember the first time I came to Virginia, to come and look at the city, just look around, house hunt and all of that. It took about 7 hours by bus. But if you're going with your private car and you like to fly, it should not take you more than 5 hours. Yeah, between 4 and 5 hours. At least I know someone who plies that road in 5 hours. So it depends on you. It depends on how you drive. But because, it's a bus and we made stops, I think about 2 or 3 stops. We made stops. So it's not like it was a straight road. So 7 hours max. The first thing that shocked me in Richmond, to be precise, Richmond is the capital of Virginia, is the fact that there are so many malls, you guys. I've never seen this many malls in my entire life before. I heard, although I researched it, but it wasn't giving the information I heard. But let me know in the comment section if you know this information, that I think Richmond has the most malls in the US. I'm not sure about that information, but there are so many malls. It's like every 5 minutes you're seeing a mall. No, I'm not kidding you guys. If you think there are malls in your country or your city where you live, there are no malls though, you guys. Until you come to Richmond, that's where you know that there are a lot of malls, you guys. And it's as if every mall always has a nail shop. If you don't see an eye clinic, you see a dentist. And you'd always see a chiropractor. I think those are the people that deal with bones, straighten your bones, that will help you, just help you twist it small. Yeah, you see them too. So in almost every mall, you see a nail. That one I've observed, you see a nail shop. You always see a food shop, of course. Yeah, of course. Then you also see supermarkets and all of that. There's a mall everywhere, you guys, in this Richmond, and it's really nice because depending on where you live, there's almost always a mall not far from you. There's almost always somewhere to go to, so you don't have to drive so far. As of the time of making this video, I've only been to 2 African stores. I think there are more, but some of them are a bit far from me. You see, well, when I say far, it will tell you 20 minutes, and here the 20 minutes is 20 minutes on the map. That's how it will tell you 20 minutes, and it's 20 minutes, although it's really far. When you see from 15 minutes going, the place is really far, but there's almost no traffic here. So I think I'm going to another point, but yeah, there's almost no traffic here, so it's just a straight drive. So just be sure that if Google Map tells you 10 minutes, it's 10 minutes, although it seems far, but it's 10 minutes. You get there in 10 minutes. So yes, that's it. New York, on the other hand, is more like a community. I loved it so much. You can just step into, in fact, what am I saying? I was about to say step into your car. No, just come out of your house and just walk down the street. You see a store or a supermarket or something, like you almost always get everything around you. So in all these malls, depending on where you stay, that's in Virginia, you may not get some certain things. Like where I used to stay in New York, there was a Spanish there was a Spanish supermarket not far from me, and I could get everything I needed, from foodstuffs, toiletries, every single thing. So if I don't want to go out for 2 weeks, I'm sorted with this Spanish restaurant, Spanish supermarket, I beg your pardon. So I don't know how to explain. It's just like Ghana and Nigeria, you guys. You know how you come out from your house, Mama Ajwa is selling pure water there. Mama Ajwa is selling, what again can you buy? Biscuits. Oh, I feel like chewing biscuits. Just go out to Mama Ajwa or Mama Nkechi in Nigeria, or Mama Musa in Nigeria, or something. You just always, you don't have to drive or go too far to get things. They're within your reach. That's exactly how New York is, and I miss it so much. Everything is within your reach, and that you can kind of say is similar. You have the malls, you have New York and the community setting, but I kind of prefer New York's community setting. I don't know how else to explain it to you, but here is like, it's a mall, so it's not like a store. Or New York, you see people by the roadside selling maybe fruits and stuff you can just buy, but here you can't really see people. In fact, no, not that you can't really, you will not see people by the roadside selling stuff. No, it's always in a shop, so you kind of know that shop prices might be a bit more expensive than that of the roadside. So I just miss the community. Basically, that's all I'm trying to say. I miss the community in New York. So yeah. So another major thing that was a big shock to me when I got to Virginia is everyone drives. Well, virtually everyone drives. At least 80% of people drive, I believe. It's just as though you cannot function here without driving. They have a bus system, they have train system, but the train is, I think, usually interstate. I've not entered it yet, but it's not like New York. You guys saw now, I was always in the train, I was always in the bus, so it's normal. That was my means of transportation back in New York. Everywhere you want to go to, there's a bus. Everywhere you want to go to, there's a train. So you don't have a problem. You don't have to have a car in New York. I mean, it's not compulsory. It's a necessity, but it's not also necessary, because you can move around. There's public transportation, and it's perfect. It's good. So I mean, you don't have a problem. But here, I've seen the way their bus system works in Virginia here, and it's not that great compared to New York. It's not that great. You see people sitting at the station, and I'm like, hey, when will bus come and pick you? That kind of thing. So I've asked someone who has lived here for about 6 years, and she said the bus system too is not that great. So immediately she said, it just confirmed what I was feeling, that it's not great. People walk. I see people who walk, yes, but in my opinion, everybody is driving in Virginia. To be honest, you need a car in Virginia. You actually need a car. In New York, you don't necessarily need a car. So to the very main thing, New York, like I said initially, New York is very busy, is rowdy. It's just, there's just so many people there. But you see, Virginia is the perfect opposite of New York. Virginia is quiet, you guys. At least, well, they said downtown could be busy and stuff, but I've driven through downtown, and yes, you know that this place, you have to be a bit careful, but it's not as rowdy as the quiet places in New York. Do you get what I'm saying? So Virginia on an average is very quiet. It's interesting because I'm not, in fact, when I got here the first few weeks, I wasn't seeing people, but I was seeing cars. So I'm like, are the cars driving themselves? Can somebody explain to me, are the cars driving themselves? Because you're not seeing people, except you go into the malls and you go into restaurants and shops and stuff. You won't see people. New York, you see people like every time. It's as if you can't walk alone. There's always someone somewhere. But here in Virginia, it's very different. You hardly see people, but you see a lot of cars. So yeah, Virginia, in my opinion, is quiet. Is, if you don't like the hustle and bustle of the city, I think you should come to Virginia. Well, now it depends on the city in Virginia to do your research, but in general, Virginia is a polar opposite of New York. Yeah, of course, there will be one or two states that are like that, but compared to New York, nah. Nowhere can be compared to New York. But since we're in spring, let's see. Let's wait for summer. Maybe by summer, I would give you guys an update if I started seeing people. But for now, I'm not seeing anyone. Of course, you see people, neighbors here and there, you know, people walking. Now, because the weather is getting a bit warmer, a bit warmer. So people are moving around, you know, coming out, walking their dogs and stuff. But let's wait for summer and I will give you an update. But for now, there's nobody on the road. From my observation and from interaction with people, I have observed and I've come to a conclusion that the demographic in New York is more of the younger generation. Of course, you find older people, you find grandpas, grandmas, but there are more younger people in New York than in Virginia. Let me explain. So in New York, you almost always see young people. Like it's always young people, even in the supermarket, the eateries, is young people cleaning up, you know, working around and all of that. Working, I mean, in shops and stuff. But Virginia, on the other hand, when you go to supermarkets, even eateries, sometimes, in fact, most of the times, you always see elderly people. So I'm thinking they could be veterans, retirees, and all of that. So here, I've noticed that you see more of the older demographic, much older people. So you go to a restaurant, the person waiting your table is probably your grandma's age mate. Maybe if your grandma is in her 60s, or your mom's age mate or something. People way over 50, over 40, you know, so they are not exactly young children. You still see youths, you still see young people, you know, people in their middle age and all of that. But yeah, I've noticed I see a lot of elderly people in the supermarkets and in the restaurants. So that's kind of, you know, different from where I'm coming from New York, where you see younger people are everywhere, but here you see more of the older people. Yeah, even people coming to shop, you see a lot of older people coming here to shop. And yeah, I guess they prefer the quiet life over here. I don't know, but yeah, that's my observation. So one major shock when I got here to Virginia was that, you know, their roads are, virtually all their roads are express, what we call express in Nigeria, what they will call motorway in Ghana, and what they call, I think, highway over here. Everywhere is just I mean, it's not, and it's so bad, you guys. It's so bad that if you are not using the map, I mean, maybe, okay, for those who have lived here for a long time, I mean, they know their way, they know the routes. But to be honest, if you do not follow the map well, if you don't read it well, if you miss a certain turning in the highway, it can go and take you round. And these highways sometimes can be really interesting. You see, this one will come like this one will come like this. Yo, if you don't know how to read the map properly, if you don't know how to follow the lines and all of that, I think you should also put on the speaking option, the option where you have to speak. Put it on so that you can hear. You know, it's wild, this place. In fact, that's one thing I heard about America before I came here, that there are roads as though you're traveling from one city to the other, and that is not the case. No, you are still in the same city. It is wild. Well, in New York, they're just regular roads that you have in Ghana and Nigeria. Regular roads. You see those Kumasi, road to Kumasi, Nsawam, all those places, road to Binyore, all those. That's how their roads are. Small thing, you've entered the express. I am like, but I'm just going to the store. But yeah, you ended up on the express. That's just on the motorway or on the highway. That's just how it is over here. So I think in one of my vlogs, I mentioned that in New York, as at then, I mean, I didn't know that they don't give nylons. Rubber bag, you know now. Yes. They don't give in New York. But when I got here, I realized that they give. The only stores that I know they won't give you are Aldi and Lidl. You see those two stores, they will not give you. So you have to buy your reusable bags. Over here, I have loads of nylons in my house. So what I do is I just use them for dustbin. Yeah. Yeah, everywhere you go, they'll give you nylon. There's surplus of nylon here. You see, that's the difference between New York and Virginia. Maybe because there are not that many people in Virginia. But in New York, there are a lot of people, so I guess they are trying to cut down on waste and stuff. But yeah, I also made a video about recycling, how I made my first dollar in New York. I was hoping that that same rule applies here. But lo and behold, it doesn't, you guys. Big disappointment. So, you know, in case you've not watched the video, I'll probably link it up here so you can watch it. Back in New York, you have recycling. So you put your regular trash in one bin, then you put your plastics and your cans in another bin. But here you put everything in one bin. I guess the trash company goes to sort it out themselves. But here you put your Coca-Cola bottle, your water bottle, everything, put it inside the same way we used to dispose back home. You put everything inside the dustbin. Hey, Charlie, he paid me because I would have cashed out in this Virginia. I would have cashed out in this Virginia, but God knows why. And God knows best. The very obvious one that you guys may be thinking is, yeah, obviously, Virginia is much more affordable than New York. New York is very expensive. It's as if you're working for them. Like, how do I put it? You're working, earning your money and giving it back to them. Well, that's kind of how American system is. But yeah, okay. New York in particular, it's actually you're working. When you finish at the end of the month, just give them back the money, because New York is really expensive. The houses are very tiny. You guys, I'm not even joking. Their houses are tiny. Their rooms are small. Everything is just so kubulu, as though Virginia is much better. At least, like the discussions I have with some Africans, they say at least you see the wage of your money. Have you heard how I put it? You see the evidence of your money. If that's, how else can I explain it to you? You are working, you will see the fruits of your labor. Let's put it that way. You will see where your money is going into. But back in New York, it's as though you don't know where your money is going to. I mean, but you know, it's funny how I keep saying New York is expensive. Yes, it's expensive. Lagos is so expensive. I'm not even talking about now. Normally, compared to other states, Lagos is expensive. Accra, Charlie, are you even joking with me? Accra is very expensive. But then, did I move out of Lagos? No. Did I move out of Accra? No. Yeah, we just talk. Lagos, the traffic is too much. The traffic there is too much. Accra, so expensive. Everywhere is choked. Everybody's in Accra. But did we leave? No. Yes, I know I left New York, but I had so many other reasons for leaving New York. I just couldn't stay in New York. For 1,001 reasons, I couldn't stay in New York. But you guys, because I mean, was in New York. Didn't I live in Accra? Didn't I live in Lagos? Didn't I live in all these places? Yes, I live there. So, I mean, why can't I live in New York? Is it just that small New York? But one of the reasons, okay, I'll tell you that this here. One of the reasons I left New York was too much. If you don't get it, forget about it. I don't know if YouTube is going to, so I'm going to have to code everything. The boo 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 was too much, In fact, whilst I was there was a boo 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 that happened in a train. I think one woman passed in the process or so in the train, you guys. And I'm like, is it not this train that thank God it wasn't the particular one I usually use, but it was just this boo 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 is everywhere. It's in every state. Like somebody said, there's no state that doesn't have its own wahala, that doesn't have its own issues, that doesn't have this boo 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 issue. They all do. They all have it. However, you see, New York is on another level. In fact, let me share a testimony since we're talking about, living in New York versus living in Virginia. So there was a particular day I was in Times Square. So I was passing by. I was even making a video. There was this particular shop. I saw something very interesting. I may insert the clip so you see. It's very nice building. I think they had like a dummy shoe or something. But I liked what I was seeing, so I just made a video and I passed by. You guys, that was about 12ish. I'll put the correct information on the screen so you can follow properly. Around 12 or so. By 7, I didn't even hear about this. It was on a Thursday or so. I didn't hear about it until the next day on the news. That around 7 that same day, there was a boo 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 in that same shop. And the boo 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 was done by a 15-year-old boy. 15-year-old boy. An immigrant. 50, whether immigrant or citizen, I don't care. It hit a tourist, but thank God the tourist, survived. Nothing happened. It wasn't a fatal injury. But what was the essence? Small boy like that. If you were back in Africa, you will chop. Let me not express violence over it, but you will be disciplined. You will be disciplined very well, because what kind of behavior is that? 15, what are you thinking of, So yeah, but it was getting a bit scary, because the few weeks I was there, at least I heard of like 3 incidents. Like at least one I escaped by the mercies of God, because I'm like, what would have happened if I were there? In fact, I don't even want to think about it. I beg, I don't want to think about it. So I'm just thinking maybe it was a dare. But even though, a very interesting one, which may be the last point for today, is that, well, since I've been here, I think I've only seen, I've passed by a police station about once or twice. I've seen a car park of police vehicles. But to see policemen, have I ever seen policemen? No. In this Virginia, no. Have I seen police cars? Yes, a few times. But in New York, I've seen police people tire. Police is everywhere in New York. They're always everywhere. You're always hearing siren, because New York people, you people are stubborn. You people are very stubborn. It's not like there are no crimes here. There are, I believe. I've heard a few, but yeah, you don't see police chasing people up and down. Probably if there's a need. Yeah, living here has been good so far. We thank God. I've settled by the grace of God. It's been fantastic. I just thought to share these things with you. I hope you enjoy it. Please don't forget to like, comment, and share. Just let me know in the comment section if you've ever been to Virginia, or if you live here. Let me know. Let me know, you guys. That's just as I, met you guys. Well, I didn't actually meet you guys, but I knew that you lived there in New York, just as I knew some of my subscribers lived in New York. Let me know if you live in Virginia as well. And yes, let's relate in the comment section. Yeah, thank you for stopping by. Do subscribe, like, comment, and share the video as well. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye.